Good afternoon. We are going to bring in just a few moments Bo Polny. You're going to hear him talk about things like gold and silver and what God's saying about the long-term future and how we as believers can be prepared to financially and all of that. It's really fascinating. You'll hear Bo quote our prophets. He's very much into the prophets that we put in. Kim Clement, Robin Bullock, all the other ones, you'll hear him comment and even quote them to kind of prove the point of what God has shown him about how to discern the times and seasons. He does it by the scriptures. All right, without further delay, let's bring in Bo Polny.
So now let's get into the good stuff. So I want to read this to give you and your viewers some real hope, because God is a God of love and he loves his bride. He loves us. He created us. So God's not going to abandon us. So as horrible as things look, Steve, our God wins and he's got it all planned out. So let me take you through what Isaiah 61 states. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that the captives will be released and the prisoners will be freed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor, the Jubilee, and the day of his vengeance." Our God is a precise God. He speaks precisely. When he says the year of the Lord's favor, he means the year of the Lord's favor. When he says the day of vengeance, he means day of vengeance. Day.
I never actually made that connection that one is a year, favor is for a year, and vengeance is for a day. I've never made that connection before.
And so what do I do? I'm an analyst of time. You know, I never knew what I did. I got a prophetic word from a prophet that basically where God called me out as Bo. He actually said my name, which kind of freaked me out, but he did. He called me by name. And then he says, analyst of time. You know, what can match that event in your life? For sure. You know, when that happened. What I've come to realize is God is a precise God. You know, everything about him is absolute precision. And when he speaks, I've listened to the prophets, Steve. His choice of words is precise.
Wow.
When he speaks. So you have to take it for the precision that it is. And I want to give you an example of precision, right? The Red Sea moment. We're talking the day. In the morning, Pharaoh was coming to kill Israel. By evening, Pharaoh and his army were dead. That is called a day of vengeance.
Wow.
Saith the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think your viewers are going to love this. The prophetic thing that I got last week was the United States is going to parallel what we saw with Lazarus. And I want to go through this. This is John 11. Let's go through some of the lines here. But Mary says, Lord, whenever it says he, you can replace that with Lazarus or he, you can replace with the United States. So it's Lord, he, the United States, whom you love, is ill. I'd say we're ill.
Yeah.
Would you not agree? You know, that doesn't
agree.
take hard to not to agree with that one.
Sick. We're sick.
Absolutely. We're ill, you know, and then so what did Jesus says? This is beautiful. The reply, the illness, the USA does not lead to death. For it is the glory of God so that the Son of God can be glorified through it.
Good.
Okay. And then Jesus says to the disciples, Lazarus, again, the United States has died. So we'll look like God forsaken. God looks going to let God abandon us. It's going to look horrible when the glory shows up. It's initially going to look horrible if you don't know that God did all this, right?
Yeah.
And for your sake, I am glad that I was not there, so that you might believe. It's all about getting glory. Because God is a loving judge, but he's a jealous judge. He wants the glory. It's not to go to man. 45 wasn't supposed to get the glory. He was never supposed to get it. God gets it. God gets the glory in this. Next part of Lazarus, the United States, has already been in the tomb for 4 days. So don't be surprised if we go dark.
We talked about, we've been warning our people about the coming 3 or 4 days of darkness or 10 days, depending on who you hear it from. There's been prophesied between 3 to 10 days of darkness coming up, and people are saying, what is that? What is that? Well, you're picking it up out of the word. I'm picking it up out of basically rumors. This is not even necessarily prophetic, and other prophets are saying it out of the prophetic ozone. They're getting it from the Lord. But the three are agreeing we're in for a few days of darkness coming up here.
Absolutely. This is my point. I'm trying to get across how timelines that we live in layer in beautifully with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what God, I said, like Lazarus, read Lazarus and then layer in your timelines. So don't be surprised if we go dark for 4 days. Don't be surprised if we go dark. Lazarus was in the tomb for 4 days. Then Jesus says to Martha, Lazarus, or United States, will rise again. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he die, shall he, United States, live.
Good.
Jesus then further says, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment in time, the Isaiah 61 moment, where you see the glory of God. It's the moment that's coming. And then to finish off Lazarus, the United States, Jesus says, come out. And so that moment when we come out, that's the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is when the new era officially arrives. So we're stepping into a new era. And this whole new era is going to be biblical. It's power. It's the fall. That moment, it will end up marking the fall. You'll never be able to go back from that moment. That's like the Red Sea moment where the fall of Goliath.
And so, Bo, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you saying that the time may come, we don't know if it's exactly 4 days or a few days or 10 days, but that it would actually almost look like we're defeated. It's over. It's death. Lazarus is dead. We're gonna be tempted to feel like it's over.
Yes.
And that's God's setup for breakthrough, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it goes to the extreme of all extremes, and then the glory arrives.
Okay.
And that's just how God's operated. When Israel was pinned up against the Red Sea, Moses, why have you brought us here to die? Steve, they were finished in their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And then then Moses steps forward and says, stand still and watch the salvation of the Lord, for he will work for you today.
That's good.
And that's the moment that we're about to see, where God works for his church, for his bride. The biggest move of God's Spirit ever in the history of this world is what's coming. Ever. One of God's biggest surprises ever to hit the elite, who have manipulated the price of everything for generations. The dollar will crash, Goliath will fall. God's people will begin to rise up in America and the world.
This prophetic word comparing the death of Lazarus to that of the United States was given on Elijah's stream on October 18th, 2021. Let's look for a second witness to this prophetic word. Coincidentally, on December 3rd, 2023, Diana Larkin gave this prophetic word in reference to comparing Lazarus with that of the United States. There will be 3 days of deep darkness, where it looks like the evil agenda has won. I will use these 3 days to fully awaken the sleepers, and all will know that a war has been going on for their freedom, and they will be clueless. The awakening will be rude, and it will shake them to the core. I will allow the arrogant elite to think that they have won and that they are now in control. They will stumble all over each other to reveal themselves to the world as those in power and control. The mesmerizing world will be shocked at the deep darkness, hatred, and depravity that is displayed. You will see that I am using the appearance of winning to give them a false sense of security, so that they will totally reveal who they are. I am letting you know about these 3 days so that you do not panic or lose heart. Keep in mind, I have promised a great rescue, but a grand revealing must come first. On the 4th day, your nation will suddenly be resurrected to new life, as my mighty Operation Rescue wipes out the darkness and brings down their control in a day. A great celebration will erupt as people realize I have rescued your nation. I will use my host, my army of light, and your loyal military in a perfectly executed plan that removes the arrogant elite, and they are handed over for tribunals and judgment. You will experience firsthand the phrase dark to light, Lazarus lay in a grave for 3 days, but on the 4th day, my son called him forth to life. Keep speaking over your nation and calling it forth to resurrection life. It will rise again on the 4th day.